Hey there, everyone. Usually I don't do Tuesday nights, but I figured with my Tuesdays off for a while, I figured why not? Let's get this episode over with. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Steven's NFL podcast. Tonight we'll be discussing everything that's happened over the past few hours, including Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones. I mean, seriously, we have a lot to talk about Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones' future. I see Tighten Up showed up in the live chat before the show began. So yeah, it's going to be one heck of an episode. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, seriously, Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones, we did not see these news is coming. I mean, seriously. Aaron Rodgers missing OTAs today, and other than the OTA, and not just Aaron Rodgers, 5 Green Bay Packers receivers, including Devontae Adams, they all miss OTAs today. Of course, they are voluntary, but I think a part of it might mean loyalty. I think the reason those 5 receivers miss OTAs today is probably because of loyalty. I mean, Aaron Rodgers wasn't there, so Jordan Love got stuck with the leftovers. Except for the tight ends, of course. The tight ends were the only ones that showed up today. Yeah, the tight ends showed up to help Jordan Love. The other 5 receivers ended up staying home. Of course, it was only voluntary, of course. This goes to show Aaron Rodgers is very committed. Is very committal to these receivers. No, it's vice versa. Of course, it was vice versa. I mean, the receivers, they only care about Aaron Rodgers. Why else would they stay and not do their work? They'll only show up if Aaron Rodgers shows up. I mean, seriously, that is what I call very sad indeed. But yeah, it's only voluntary OTAs. You can't blame them. You can't blame these receivers. But yeah, speaking of receivers, we got word on Julio Jones. Basically, Julio is going to come down to either the New England Patriots or the Tennessee Titans. I'm surprised Julio called in Tennessee. I mean, seriously, that was what I call insanity. So, yeah, New England versus Tennessee in the running for Julio right at the moment. Julio can't get traded till June 2nd when his cap hit drops. I know Tennessee is committed to having Julio Jones. Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown are committed. Did you see A.J. Brown's video? I mean, seriously, that is total commitment on A.J. Brown's part. He made it first. He offered to hand over his jersey number to Julio. Then he makes a video about it. Man, A.J. Brown will do anything to try and get Julio Jones onto the Titans. And, of course, there's King Henry, who worked out with Julio a few days ago. Now all they need to do is is to make sure John Robinson is committed. Make sure Ryan Tannehill's committed. I mean, seriously. All they need is the whole Titans organization to be committed. Because right now, only King Henry and A.J. Brown are committed. Meanwhile, I don't see any support for the Patriots. I mean, seriously, because Patriots fans think they locked it all up because of Cam Newton. But don't you think Patriots fans should at least try? Titan fan, welcome. Cap space is the issue. Yeah, I know. That's why they need some people to make some cuts. King Henry, why don't you just announce cut? Why don't you just cut the money, some of your money, since Tannehill and Bayard are too chickenly to do it? You can do it, Henry. You can do it. Still, there was no love for Patriots players. I mean, seriously. Patriots think they already got this locked and loaded. But when Julio Jones added Tennessee Titans to his list of places to go, maybe this will convince New England to try harder. Maybe get one of their players involved. Because even though they have plenty more cap space than the Titans, they still need to show commitment to Julio. Because Tennessee Titans, they have 2 players committed to Julio. Now they just need to do a little cap space. Now they just need to make some cap space. I mean, seriously, this is a fight. This is a fight neither team can afford to lose. Mostly Tennessee, though, because they're one wide receiver away from a Super Bowl. I mean, seriously, even if they keep Ferguson and Swam as the only tight ends, they can make a running for the Super Bowl as long as they get Julio Jones. Julio Jones. Titans are your best option, not the Patriots. Because Patriots, they still got they still need some fine tuning with the team they put together. But the Tennessee Titans, however, they worked with these guys for months. They worked with these guys for a long time. Yeah, sure they have a new offensive coordinator, but this is an offense. But Todd Downing's an offensive coordinator that worked with the team for a while. He's used to their former offensive coordinator system. $15 million need to guarantee a Super Bowl. Whew. That may be. I just wish Tannehill and Bayard were committed. But King Henry could be committed. All he needs now is to make a little cut. Yeah, but so far right now it's a race between New England and Tennessee at the moment. Biblical Beast, welcome. Titans need him so bad. You're darn right, Biblical Beast. Titans do need him. He's the key to a Super Bowl. Titans are better than the Patriots. Well, not unless they steal Julio from us. Believe me, they already stole Jonnu Smith from us. But if we can lock in Julio Jones, then even with Ferguson and Swam as our tight ends, we can make a Super Bowl. We just need to get Julio Jones. They need a top talent wide receiver. And right now, Josh Reynolds, Des Fitzpatrick, and those other guys, they're not exact. They're basically average. They're basically average. I know Josh Reynolds will hate this, but it's the truth. We need a top receiver. And right now, Josh Reynolds is more like a slot receiver. I think Des Fitzpatrick may be okay, but he definitely needs to adjust to the Titans system. I mean, seriously, this is basically so sad. The way the Titans took the draft, this told me that they are committed to the Julio Jones sweepstakes. They drafted Caleb Farley with that 22nd pick. They drafted Dylan Raines in the 2nd round. They waited until the 4th round to get a wide receiver. This shows how committed they are to Julio Jones. Meanwhile, the Patriots, what did they do? They get a lot of weapons on their team. And even though they basically stink up the receiver core, they rebuilt the Gronkowski and he who shall not be named again duo. I feel like he favors towards the Titans more because of AJ and Henry. He was working with Henry. Yeah, did you see AJ Brown's video? That's what I call total commitment. AJ Brown showed total commitment when he posted that video. My hopes are so high. Yeah, I mean, basically, Tennessee Titans, they obviously are the favorites to win Julio Jones now. But hopefully, let's hope our hopes don't go so high because we still got the cap problem. I mean, seriously, despite that the Titans are the favorite to win Julio Jones, we still got the cap problem to worry about. I mean, seriously, we still got that stinking cap problem. Darn it. They got to get it done by June 2nd because that's when Julio Jones is allowed to get traded. Unless somehow New England Patriots sleaze their way in right now. Because right now it's coming down to a battle between the Patriots and the Titans so far. I mean, seriously. Julio Jones wants to leave Atlanta. He even confirmed it with Shannon Sharpe. But you know what he said? Dallas Cowboys are off limits. Do we even have a legit tight end? I wouldn't call Ferguson or Swam legit tight ends, but if we could get Julio Jones, we should be okay. We should be okay. If we could get Julio Jones, we don't need a tight end. But if we don't, then we might need one. Because that's basically much of the plan. We need to score Julio Jones with this trade. Meanwhile, Patriots, they already started their OTAs and we saw Mack Jones in as number 50. Sure, it's not his official number, but the fact remains is that number 50, that's a crazy number for a QB. But then again, it's not his real official number. But still, it was worth talking about. It was still talking about. All for getting him, but that's a hefty price tag. That may be. But if we could score him, we should be a Super Bowl contending team. We should be able to dethrone Kansas City. Because right now, this team couldn't even get past Buffalo and Kansas City. We need to get past these two. And right now, Julio Jones sounds like our best bet. Something tells me that in order to win, we may have to give up some draft picks. May have to say farewell to either Rashad Evans. But I hope we don't have to say farewell to Kevin Byard. I hope not. Still, I think Titans should indeed get rid of a first-round pick. Because guess what? Based on their draft history, Titans stink in the first round. Except for Jack Conklin, who was released, and Jeffrey Simmons, who's still on board. and basically going to get that fifth-year option after this year. And Caleb Farley is still to be determined. But other than those three, they stunk in the first round. Still got to get to Mahomes. Yeah, I know. And the Titans defense definitely need to improve. That's what they were doing. Getting free agents and draft picks on the defense to prove that Shane Bowen is the right defensive coordinator. I mean, seriously, they scored Bud Dupree. They scored Janoris Jenkins. They even drafted Caleb Farley. And believe me, this guy, despite the 2 back surgeries, if he plays well, Caleb Farley, we can forget about Adoree Jackson. And most of their draft and 5 of their draft picks were spent on Senior Bowl competitors from the Senior Bowl. You can't exactly blame them. I mean, Monty Rice, he grew up as a Tennessee Titans fan. And now he gets a chance to play. Sure, he'll have to play backup to Rashad Evans. But still. Of course, Dylan Raines. When I saw Dylan Raines' name, I was like, what the heck? Why do we draft an offensive tackle? And it was all because of one thing, the Isaiah Wilson situation. The plan was to make him a right tackle, but a part of me thinks he's a left tackle, that we drafted Luan's replacement. So how long Evans is on a short rope after last season? He did not get the 5th-year option, so this could be his final year. No, Biblical Beast, I don't have Instagram. Rashad Evans, this is basically his final chance with the Titans. He definitely needs a Corey Davis-like year. I think if we get delusions. Of course, Julio Jones wasn't the only one showing media attention today. I mean, seriously. Do you think these 5 receivers, do you think the 5 receivers that didn't show up today are committed to Aaron Rodgers? Which is why they didn't show up to the voluntary OTAs, because Aaron Rodgers didn't show up. I mean, 5 of the receivers didn't show up, which is 2 of which are Devontae Adams. We all know Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, MVS. None of those guys showed up to voluntary OTAs. I know it's voluntary, but I think they didn't show up because Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. But yet the tight ends were committed to helping Jordan Love. Unbelievable. This is basically the beginning of the end for the Green Bay Packers era. because I'm pretty certain Aaron Rodgers might have started a rebellion. I mean, most of these guys show up every single day, including the voluntary OTAs. Well, some of them at least. Still, the fact that the fact is, you don't have Aaron Rodgers, you don't get most of your players. Yikes. Unbelievable. But then again, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon showed up. So the running backs and tight ends were the only starting gigs that showed up today. Receivers, totally committed to Aaron Rodgers. Yikes. All the Green Bay Packers fans are probably wondering, what the heck? Is this the beginning of the end? For their sake, you better hope you're wrong. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Julio Jones definitely definitely made things interesting today. So yeah, is Aaron Rodgers seriously going to mark the beginning of the end for the Packers? And which team is going to get Julio Jones, I wonder? Well, it's basically going to come down to either New England or Tennessee. Well, I guess we'll just have to see, won't we? After all, we still got a long way. We just have to wait till June 2nd to see who's going to score Julio Jones. Right now, it's basically going to be down to either New England or Tennessee, because the Patriots and the Titans already showed interest, and Julio Jones, they showed interest in both of these teams. Now comes the differences. New England and Tennessee. The Patriots' reasons to get Julio Jones. They are a receiver away from battling Buffalo Bills for the AFC and Miami Dolphins for the AFC East, to get back on track and prove that Tom Brady is officially done with the team. Reason for Titans to get him: to be the AFC South team, and I hope he doesn't go to the Ravens or Colts. Even though Ravens and Colts are on that list right now, Biblical Beast, Julio Jones is still interested in either Patriots or Titans at the moment. But Ravens or Colts could come up at any given time. We still got to wait a few weeks. We have to wait till June 2nd. But right now, it's basically on Patriots or Titans. So yeah, tighten up. Welcome. So yeah, Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown are really sparking Julio Jones to make the top, to come to Tennessee. I mean, seriously, A.J. Brown a few minutes ago posted a video showing how committed he is to having Julio Jones on the team. This shows that Titans could be the winner. But then again, there's also a chance it could be a fantasy, because they got to get John Robinson involved. You can't have King Henry and A.J. Brown do it alone. But I think King Henry and A.J. Brown already showed Julio Jones interest at the moment. Meanwhile, Cam Newton's the only reason Julio Jones wants to go to New England. If he's the reason, might want to stick to Tennessee. Reason to come to New England? Cam Newton. He knows him back in the NFC South, but here comes the problem. Injury prone, and therefore he was injury prone during his time with Carolina, which could very well spell disaster. And the division is going to be with Buffalo and Miami, so not exactly a correct call for New England for Julio if he goes to New England, unless he likes the challenge. But he's not getting any younger. He's getting old, people, which is why which means if it comes down to those two, he should pick Tennessee because they're in a prime position to make the Super Bowl right now. Mac Jones wearing 50. Yeah, I know. That was kind of shocking. That was quite shocking. But unfortunately, that's not his official number. Right now, at the moment, he only wore it during the OTAs. Julio Jones isn't getting any younger, so eventually he's going to have to get a Super Bowl ring. And if it comes down to Patriots or Titans, he's got to pick Tennessee because, yeah, he's got to pick Tennessee because they have the weapons, the offensive weapons he needs. Tannehill is the perfect QB to get him to a Super Bowl. And based on an offensive line, the Chiefs and even the Kansas City Chiefs have to be scared. I mean, seriously. They used up free agency and the draft on the defense. You have no excuses, Titans. And all that's left now is to lock up Julio Jones in this trade. I hope the Titans trade Rashad Evans in a second-round pick for Julio. That is a good one, Biblical Beast. That is a good one. That was my first guess. Biblical Beast. You are a mind reader. I mean, seriously, that was my first guess. Yes, I was expecting the same thing as well. Because Rashad Evans, he's not looking too good. I think Monty Rice might be in the running to get rid. Well, people hate on our defense, so draft was good. Yeah. But after Caleb Farley, we used most of our picks on the Senior Bowl players. On players who got into the Senior Bowl. Dalen Raines, Monty Rice, Des Fitzpatrick. They waited until the fourth. They could have gotten Amari Rodgers if they weren't so serious about getting Julio Jones. But they traded back, allowed Green Bay Packers to get Amari Rodgers. And now, look at where they are right now. They're in a position to get Julio Jones. This all started back in March. You know, this Julio Jones trade rumor was spread in March, and now it's going to happen. Somewhere in June. It's going to be between either New England or Tennessee at the moment. We still got a week. We still got till June 2nd to hear any more teams, but right now it's looking at New England and Tennessee at the moment. That's what Julio Jones is looking at. Still, Julio Jones worked with Matt Ryan for so long. But even if he goes to the Titans, but if he goes to New England, he'll have a new QB, but he'll be working with a former divisional foe. What about the Colts and Ravens? Titan fan, this is up. Sure, Titan fan, Colts and Ravens were mentioned. But right now, the teams Julio Jones are looking into. My last video mentioned the teams that were interested in Julio Jones, but right now Patriots and Titans, Those are the teams Julio Jones are looking at. But you are right about that. There is no trade clause for Julio Jones. So he could go anywhere. But if Atlanta wants to keep him happy, they will do what he says. But if Patriots and Titans don't go interested, yeah, Colts and Ravens could be next in line. We still have to wait till June 2nd to hear any more teams that are interested that Julio Jones might be looking at. But right now, Colts and Ravens may be interested. We don't know if Julio Jones is interested in them. Because right now, we only hear Patriots and Titans at the moment. And plus, Ravens, they got a lot. They got a It's going to be a tough call if Ravens are on Julio Jones' shopping list. I mean, seriously, they seriously drafted Rashad Bateman with one of their first round draft picks. They even got Hollywood Brown. I mean, seriously, are you willing to trade Hollywood Brown for Julio Jones? The answer is yes. But what about Hollywood Brown? He committed so hard to changing his number. Then again, if Hollywood Brown does get traded to Atlanta, Joe Flacco doesn't lose his number. Well, at least not the Ravens number, but still. Because Hollywood Brown, he's looking at number 5 right now. In fact, I think Joe Flacco is cheering, hoping that the Ravens get Julio, and hopefully they trade for Hollywood Brown as well. But that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. They are not getting rid of Hollywood Brown for Julio. As for Indianapolis Colts, however, sure Carson Wentz has Frank Reich, but here comes the catch. Carson Wentz is coming off some of his worst years of his life ever since Frank Reich left to become head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. That's basically how it's going to go down. So if Colts and Ravens were interested, or on Julio Jones's wish list, it's going to become a struggle. Which is probably why New England and Tennessee are at the moment in the lead, and there's no way in hell Falcons are going to trade him to any NFC teams. Even 49ers got denied. Are probably going to get denied. But if Julio Jones does want to show interest in an NFC team, be my guest. Just as long as it's not NFC South, because there is no way they are going to let Buccaneers, Falcon, the Saints, Titans 12-5, Colts 10-7, Jaguars 9 or 9-8, Jags 5-12, Texans 0-17. I don't know about the Jaguars, dude. But I think Texans may be onto something because Deshaun Watson's drama could go out all season. Is going to probably happen all season. So yeah, they could be looking at an 0-17 record, but I think Trevor Lawrence is going to basically bounce the Jaguars up a bit. I'm not going to say five. I'm not going to say a losing record, but yeah, they can still end up in third place. I think Jaguars can still end up in third place. Just not in a losing record. Maybe a bit like. So do you think we better on third down? We'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait till week one to find. We'll just have to wait till preseason to find out, because can't prove that week 12, week 1 if most of our guys get injured. Because Titans, they got the Falcons, the Buccaneers, and the Bears as their preseason opponent. Vinroy, Barrett, welcome. And they basically work with the Buccaneers on one of those preseason games. Maybe we finally get some maybe Mike Vrabel finally gets some word from Bruce Arians about how to lead a team to the Super Bowl. I mean, seriously. Please tell me you're not ending soon. I just joined. No, Vinroy. No, Vinroy. I mean, seriously. We only get 3 preseason games, and Titans work with the defending Super Bowl champions in preseason week 2 for a joint practice. That's going to be one. Hopefully Mike Vrabel might learn something from Bruce Arians, even though he's going to get the reunion with Tom Brady. So basically, all the Titans' preseason opponents are NFC. Then they move on. Mac Jones wearing 50 is a nightmare. Yeah. Good thing that's not his official number. They're still working on it. Hey, guys, you hear about Julio list East top 2 teams? Yeah, Vinroy, that's what I was talking about today. Titans and Patriots. I cannot believe it's actually coming down to these 2 teams. But the list could grow. Before June 2nd. If not, then, well, I think we know what we're in for, a showdown. I just hope we do better with Julio Jones than Peyton Manning. When it came down to Denver and Tennessee, Broncos were the winners. Then again, we had a divisional foe to try and get. And of course, even though we won Jadeveon Clowney during that Clowney sweepstakes last year, he was a bust. So let's just hope we finally do something right with Julio. I mean, seriously. Still, we just need to win him over. I mean, seriously. We still need to win him over. Wait, is Mac Jones really wearing 50? That's going down in history. Well, he's only wearing number 50 in the OTAs right now, Vinroy. The number is not yet determined. He's just wearing number 50 in the OTAs. But if it does become an official number, that's going to go down in history. Still, there's also the matter of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, seriously. 5 Packers wide receivers, including Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard, did not show up today. Putting Julio Jones, putting Jordan Love in a problem. Sorry if I got these mixed up. Yeah, leaving Jordan Love with the running backs and the tight ends to work with and the leftover receivers. Amari Rodgers wasn't one of the receivers that missed the OTAs today, even though it was voluntary. I think it shows Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, MVS, these guys are committed to Aaron Rodgers, which is probably why they did not show up for OTAs. When I saw that tweet about Julio list people, I are crazy mad about this. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Julio, I mean, seriously, Julio Jones thought he was going to go to New England, but then Tennessee came along and then bam. And we have King Henry and A.J. Brown to thank for that. King Henry worked with Julio. A.J. Brown made a video how committed he is to having Julio Jones on the team. I mean, seriously. King Henry and A.J. Brown are committed. We still need the others on our side, including John Robinson. We still need John Robinson to pull the trigger. Go Seahawks all day. Danny P., welcome. It's still a tight race between Patriots and Titans for Julio Jones right now. It's only a matter of time before we find out which team is going to get by June, because they're saying not winning teams like what, and they saying they're not a team. That's not true. Yeah, you do have a point. Still, I think Julio is better off with the Titans, despite what I said last year, because they're in a position to win now. They're in an easier division than the Patriots. They are in a position to win, to make it to the Super Bowl now. Julio Jones isn't getting younger, people. And right now, Tennessee sounds like the perfect fit. If he goes to New England, he's going to have to wait until he's because who knows when Cam Newton is ready to get back on track. Despite all the weapons they gave Cam Newton or Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a rookie. Cam Newton is injury prone. The only true QB that's perfect for Julio is Tannehill. Dre's not going down unless we move around some money. Yeah, I know. Yeah, King Henry, you need to cut back if you are truly committed. And we still need Tannehill and Byard to do the same. I know King Henry, I know you worked with the guy, but if you are committed, you will cut back. I mean, seriously, the King has to cut back if he truly wants him. But then again, there are some consequences if Julio comes. Like, say, what's going to happen with A.J. Brown and less play time for King Henry. No 2,000 yards running back. Still, they need the balance, people. They need the balance. And right now, the receiver core, not looking too good. A.J. Brown can't do it alone, people. I mean, seriously, A.J. Brown can't do it alone. You're making him you're really putting a huge target on A.J. Brown's back. So this Julio Jones trade has to go down mostly for the Titans. But if he ends up in New England, then it's basically a three-way race between Buffalo, Miami, and New England. Because we don't know if the Jets are going to make it an anything goes race. I mean, seriously. I guess we'll just have to see, won't we? Anyways, see you all next time.